All right, we're good. You
Okay,
are live.
this is the November Public Safety Committee meeting, and this year has flown by uh, with so many unexpected opportunities. I'd like to start with our agency reports. Chief Walls.
Okay. I said a little bit earlier, and I'll let Bill elaborate on it because he sees the station, but they're really moving on Station 4. I'm really happy about that. Still some loose ends on Station 6 that we're trying to clear up with the apron and how it meets the road, but that's a joint effort between Tika and our engineer and architect, etc. So we're moving through. We were good for a while on no positive COVID tests within the rank and file from August through September. Things are picking up in the last week and a half, and so we've just had about 4 confirmed in the last couple days. So I expect the rise will continue as the rise continues all across the United States and through the holidays. So we're
Right.
just going to have to try and get through the next few months. We have, I wasn't sure if you guys were aware that, we had 2 squads active and then one was involved in an accident and that had been totaled. So we have another squad vehicle right now getting lights and prep to be the second squad again. So once we have it back, we'll continue to use the first squad on a regular basis. And then the second squad, most likely as events or obviously for the PGA, but as travel ramps back up, hopefully this spring, if we have the vaccinations and testing. So other than that, nothing really major. It's like Groundhog Day every day. Hopefully moving into the new year, that will change.
And was anyone hurt in this squad vehicle accident?
Oh no, and actually, we actually had cameras installed on our vehicles for several reasons, but many times, we get blamed for incidents that may or may not be our fault. So it was to our benefit to get the cameras installed on the accidents. And really, if you saw the video footage of this accident, boy, you would never drive a vehicle without an airbag anymore. These guys were really lucky. They were T-boned right in the side, and you could see the incident as it unfolds. And they both were safe and no injuries. So really, really good outcome, as well as the driver that hit the car. She was safe also.
And they had their airbags, so that's good. They're very important. Okay, Chief, thank you very much. Moving on, Captain Martin.
Good morning. Sheriff's Office continues to conform with COVID-19 protocol, wearing the mask and doing the attempts before they report to duty out there to work the island. Um, Also interacting with the citizens, putting their mask on, traffic stops, etc. Deputies arrested our Limehouse suspect for trespassing at Freshfields. He had apparently violated the order, so the deputies had a warrant issued, and we were able to locate him. We served that warrant last month. We served that, it was issued last month, and we served it a couple of weeks ago. He was released from jail on a personal reconnaissance bond. We're keeping an eye on him, trying to keep him off the property. He can come on the property um, if he's conducting business at a bank or something there, but he can't loiter on the property. So that's what he was doing. He was up I think he was at the Ando Inn, and that's what the warrant was issued on the Ando Inn. He violated trespassing notice on that. Um, Deputies are assisting Kiko with off-duty assignment with directing traffic while the roads are being resurfaced on the island. Some of the residents are annoyed with the process, but it is what it is. So you'll see more numerous deputies out there, and they think that deputies have better things to do than that. They don't realize it's off-duty, and they're not basically on duty to answer service calls, but rather to direct traffic. So that continues to go on, and I think they're gonna finish up this week. I'm sure Tika could fill you in on that. Um, been in contact with Aviation Authority to schedule the bicycle training class.
Good.
Today, we have nothing firm set, but we're still negotiating with them, and hopefully we'll have something maybe next month. I'll let you know when we have a date when those guys will be doing that class. But I'm trying to expedite that because we want those guys on the bikes, you know, this coming spring. So,
Absolutely.
let's see. Two of our permanent deputies were involved in collisions with their town Tahoe vehicles. Deputy Johnson was in a bit of a traffic jam in Freshfields, and he went around and he did not see a fire hydrant, and he struck a fire hydrant on the right passenger doors and kind of scraped it down the side. So that vehicle, he's in a spare car. He's still performing his functions. He wasn't hurt or anything, but that vehicle's in the shop being repaired. And Deputy Corey was on his way home from Kiowa last week and was rear-ended by a DUI driver. He's not seriously hurt, but he has some issues, so he's been out of work, and his car's in the process of getting repaired as well. But when he returns to work, he'll be in a spare until his Tahoe's fit for duty. Other than that, business as usual on the island. I'll be headed out next week to the mountains, so I'll still be available if you need me, but Lieutenant Brokaw is going to be here to
Great. Mm-hmm.
in case I'm in a spot where I can't, the mountains and all, I can't answer you immediately. That's where we're at.
Chief, I know that Yvonne had asked about 2 vehicle break-ins. Did you ever get reports on them?
My guys looked for that, looked in the system. We couldn't find any reports, so apparently nobody reported that to the guys. But I made the permanent deputies aware of those issues, as well as the off-duty guys to be checking these parking lots at night and evening hours.
Good.
People acting suspicious around vehicles. People leaving their cars unlocked, and then they see a computer or a camera or whatever in there. They're going up there and they're opening the door. From what I understand from what Yvonne told me, the vehicles were unlocked, and so the items were taken out. That'll make it a little bit tougher. Put, items of value in a trunk, of course, and of course secure your vehicle at all times. But yeah, we're keeping an eye out on that.
Okay, great. Yvonne, did you want to add anything to that?
Captain's correct. The vehicles have all been unlocked that have had issues. 100% certain that they're occurring on island. We did recommend police reports to the 2 that we're aware of, but I just thought from a situational awareness perspective, it's a good time to remind everybody to keep at a plain view and everything locked.
I agree with you. Maybe we'll be sending something out to all of our residents on that, and just general home safety too. This time of year is tempting for people. Okay, Captain Martin, thank you very much. And
I have a quick question, Madam Chair, if I can ask for Captain Martin. Captain Martin, could you tell me, and probably you probably have mentioned this before, but for some reason I just forgot or I don't know the locations. What are the locations? I believe there's maybe 4 or 1 location where we have a license plate identifier. I'm not sure if I'm saying that, if I'm pronouncing or terming it right. I know there's 1 location at Freshfields where you're able to, is that true, where you're able, when you drive away, it's able to capture your license plate?
The only place that I know that they were at the entrance and exits to Freshfield. I didn't know if they were the other ones other than that.
I'm sorry, Captain Martin, could you say, I didn't really understand, Lieutenant Brokaw.
What the lieutenant said, the only ones that he's aware of were at the exit and the entrance at the gates. At the oh yeah, well, they capture the lights. That's the camera though. It doesn't capture the information. The license tag. No, it doesn't do that. I'll have to check on that. I know Sergeant James with our logistics. We have one. Usually there's one at Main and 17, but I don't know if there was any at the on the island that I'm aware of.
Okay, we can.
But we can probably get one out. Pardon me?
I'm not saying you need to or not. I was just told that there's either 1 or 4 on the island or at Freshfield. So just wondering if you can look into that and just let me know where they're located. And I guess Freshfields must have approved it. Julie, maybe if she's on the call, maybe they approved it. I don't know.
They have cameras there that when they have cameras and they catch the tags, but then we run the tags to find the information out. The ones that are at Freshfields.
Right, that's what I'm saying. So there are cameras at Freshfields that capture the
Both
tags.
entrances. Yeah, they don't capture the info. They take a picture of the vehicle, and then we look at the vehicle and we read the tag, and then we run it through the system to find out who the vehicle is. Yeah.
Okay, is that the only location where they're located?
That I know of. We have some at the front gate too, I believe, some cameras because
yes.
Yeah, Tony's giving me
Tony's
information
here.
on tags that he's captured. Then I have my guys run the information and we find out who that belongs to. I think the last one we had was a motorcycle, and Tony had a picture of it and forwarded that to me.
Yeah, I'm aware of Kika's. I thought those were owned by Kika, but I just thought that there was some that either some public ones. I just wasn't aware of the ones located.
There's two. You can actually see the little bulbs on the post as you're leaving Freshfields from both entrances. They don't capture the vehicles coming on into Freshfields, but they capture them leaving Freshfields.
Okay, got it. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
That's all I have.
All right, thank you, Stephanie. Okay, next, Chief Abrams.
Good morning, everyone. I can report better performance to last month. This is the second month in a row that we've had less than stellar performance. That's of great concern for me, I know, as well as members of the committee. We had 19 responses total during October, 10 of which were over 20 minutes, 9 of which were under 18 minutes, which is not acceptable. So we've no negative outcome from the patient. They were all stable Cat 3s. A few of those were refusals as well. But we've made some immediate changes. Our Delta 1 supervisor, which covers the south end of the county, traditionally has been stationed at Medic 7 station, which is right across from Johns Island High School. They do a lot of administrative work where they're sitting in the office. We've moved their office down to Medic 10 station. So that should increase a lot of time where you're going to have at least a paramedic QRV at that location.
Where's Medic 10?
Okay.
Where's Medic 10?
Medic 10 is the one right outside of Kiowa Gates. That's the one that you pass by the golf course. So thank you for the question on that. So we're trying to improve our response times in the paramedic we have for Kiowa and Seabrook by doing that. So I think it's going to be a good move. We're also starting a pilot that we've discussed before amongst ourselves. One of our biggest challenges is we don't have enough resources out to manage the county. This year, I had asked for 20 full-time equivalents as well as 3 additional ambulances that COVID cut. My boss is working with council to get that back into the budget this year, which will give us 20 FTEs. Right now, we're only balancing between about 14 vacancies right now in total. And a couple of times in the last few months, we've actually go to a wait list for EMT basics. So we're trying to enlarge our FTEs budget this year, and then also work with a 4-year plan to add a total of 8 ambulances over the next 5 years, as well as an additional 35 FTEs on top of 20 that I've already asked for this year, trying to get those back on plan. But in the meantime, what we are doing is one of the challenges, of course, with these lacking resources is it's difficult to manage both the geography, which is, as you know, very long and wide for the county, and then also covering the volume, which is also a huge challenge. What we're going to do is offer overtime shifts for our super rural areas, such as the Kiowa, Seabrook area, McClellanville, as well as the Edisto area. And what we're telling people is if you want to sign up for overtime, you can be assigned to those areas. If you get a call, not get a service when you get done transporting, and send you right back out there. Those are going to be 13-hour shifts, so they'll overlap. And we think that'll at least have an impact of giving you guys more more coverage out there. And if it's successful, we anticipate it to be a really hot, it'll be really good. It serves you guys better, it gives them a break, and it gives them easy overtime. And we're also looking at more sustainable options of how to better cover those areas without detracting from the volume, which tends to gravitate resources into those areas. So if one of those units transports, we want to backfill it, but we realize we don't have enough resources right now without those enlargement in our FTEs as well as the ambulances to backfill. So if we can get enough resources in the system, we can go back to the backfilling, but we're hoping this will improve response times, hopefully in the immediate. So we're not going to have any delay there, but we'll keep working on different methods of providing better coverage for the Kiowa area.
They would, at this, let's see, Medic 10, an ambulance would be there?
Right now we have a Tahoe there, and when we have overtime slots get filled, that we will have an ambulance there. Our normal operation is we anchor units at Medic 6, Medic 8, and Medic 10, which is your McClellanville, your Kiowa, and your Edisto. In fact, I have a policy or procedure that I drafted back in 2016 advising the CDC, the dispatch center, that the intent is being covered regardless of what's going on within the county. Whenever we get to, we exhaust units within other areas though, and we have calls pending, the dispatch center tries to creep those units closer to where the calls are happening. It is difficult to get them back out in that area or to send replacement units out there if the volume keeps on like it is. And right now, we're running about 5%. Our call volume is 5% over prior year, even though we had a slight dip during COVID. And then we went back up to about 5% under par from over prior year. But that occurred like in July and August. We had 15, 17 employees on quarantine for COVID. So we had a decrease in our ability to staff units. And we're trying to incentivize people to continue to staff these overtime units, which hopefully seems to get, people seem to be excited over it. They just want to make sure that we use it the way we intended, and that we're not going to pull them into the vortex. So we are going to make sure that they stay out of those areas. So there will be an ambulance out there for those overtime shifts, and our normal operations are still intent is to maintain coverage with an ambulance out in those rural areas.
Okay. Any questions for Chief Abrams? Okay, moving on. For the Beach Patrol, Rob?
Good morning.
Good morning.
Just a couple of things. We've had a long-term goal of becoming an agency that's certified by DHEC as a basic first responder agency. And so finally, after many months of delays, we've gotten our application sent in, and it's pending right now. We were waiting on 2 permits to come back and 2 inspections, and then we should be good to go. I'm hoping sooner rather than later, but I understand that it could be 45 days or more for some of those permits to come back. So we're excited about that. One of the things that allows us to do is maintain our employees' certifications as EMTs. So if they work for us as EMTs, we don't have to rely on an outside program to train them. We can be our own training center through the state, and so we're looking forward to doing that. The other thing that does, we're sort of in tandem trying to push this DHEC thing, as well as the right now our USLA certification certifies us as a seasonal agency, which while we work year round, we're meeting the year-round standards, but I haven't sent in the paperwork yet for that. So part of getting the year-round designation with USLA is having EMTs on year-round, and so we're just now to the point that we're staffing pretty much EMTs every day, as opposed to minimum emergency medical responders. So once we do that, I think and I need to double check this, but I think we'll be the only beach on the East Coast north of Daytona that is a USLA certified year-round agency. So we're looking forward to that, and hopefully, again, we'll put that application in the next research cycle, which will be in the spring. We've got 2 people in EMT class right now, and so we're just excited about where we're going and the added service that we're able to provide for the town. So aside from that, I've been working with the committee doing the shark. What's that?
Protocol.
Yes, updating the shark protocol, and so happy to help with that, and looking forward to that being presented here in a few minutes. So, any questions for us?
No, thank you, Rob. Anyone who knows the Beach Patrol probably doesn't know all the things they do. And I was quite impressed, even working on the shark information, to know that they're trained to identify different sharks and how to react. So someday we're going to have to present Beach Patrol to everyone so they'll have a better understanding, because it's a lot more than just walking up and down on the beach, for sure.
I was hoping to do that today, and then we went to a virtual meeting. I'd really like to do that in person, and we've gotten most of the statistics together, and we should be ready to present that at any meeting in the future. And if y'all have any questions specifically about any of the enforcement stuff or medical stuff that we've been doing, I've got all of that data up to date. Just compiling it for the year now.
Great, thank you very much, Rob.
No problem.
Okay, next we have a report for Kika from Tony.
Hello, everyone. Driving, so I'm going to try to focus on that, but still give you somewhat of a report. The good news is that our budget passed with our request for 2 additional patrol officers that are dedicated specifically to patrol, which will then give me a total of 3 positions. I also just got my day shift patrol person, who's been pretty much out since the beginning of the year, back on the 16th on light duty. So hopefully we'll get him back from his hip surgery and other things he had to have done, get him back working. Once I get those patrol officers in place, I want to work with the town's contracted folks for their enforcement, so that we can kind of coordinate some of that and figure out who's enforcing what and how, and exactly what we're going to put in place so that we can make the best of all those resources. I won't have that available, I'm sure, in January, because I was fully staffed for about 12 hours, and now I'm down 3 people. So it's challenging sometimes to bring people out to Kiowa for the unfortunate amount of money that I'm able to pay them. But hopefully I'll get some out there, and maybe by February I'll get them out there and get them working. I'm going to be using people who have been here for a while for patrol, not the new people, if I can help it. I've already got a supervisor who wants to step down from being a supervisor and go into patrol, because that's really what he wants to do. So I'm probably going to allow that. So I should have one pretty quick. Next year, we're giving all the owners their RFID tags. That got passed in the budget. I just signed the $50,000 deposit for those. So we should start that distribution after I receive them January 6th. The intent is to have all those distributed before we get to PGA. So sometime in April, I can actually remove the barcode readers, and we're using all RFID tags at that point. ALPR cameras, everyone should know we have 4 of them, 2 on the entry lanes, 2 on the exit lanes. They're about 3 years old now. We're starting to have some challenges with some of them, so I'm looking at a potential replacement for those so we can keep that running. But we do have all that data as they come and go from the island. Don't really have anything else unless there's any questions.
I just have a question, inquiry that we had. I know you're well aware of it, but if there's a break-in in a neighborhood, what's our position regarding letting everyone know or not know?
So And Captain Martin, just so you'll know, this was an email that myself and the chairperson received about a robbery on Bufflehead. And obviously they're titling it wrong because at worst it was a burglary into a unoccupied dwelling that was unlocked at 27 Bufflehead. What we normally do with those is those are, it's the county is investigating those. That one seems like it's probably not a random burglary. It seems as if from just the facts on it, and the captain can fill us in maybe, that it's an inside kind of job. Somebody who knew they keep their door unlocked and went in there because there was no forced entry at all. That type of a potential inside job that's under investigation, that's up to the sheriff's office and the town if they want to release that information. We as TICA don't do that. We appreciate getting the information, but we're not going to put the information out. We would do that in tandem with the town and the sheriff's office if they were wanting to do that. But in that case, and Captain, you can elaborate because she's probably going to call me. The homeowner got mad because the whole neighborhood wasn't told about that particular burglary or even potential just larceny if they had access to the house. But that particular incident, because it didn't seem like a randomized burglary that people were just going to be victimized by, would be the reason I think that it wouldn't have been put out generally to everyone. But Captain?
Well, that what you're talking about is what we called CID that same day they came out, investigated. From what I've learned, the detectives, apparently it was the pool boy that had access to the house, and anyways, that individual worked for the pool company, and they checked the area of ponds, and they found that he had pawned a large amount of jewelry, so from what I understand, CID is in the process of getting warrants for that individual. I can follow up and see if that information is correct, but that was an inside job. Basically, that person had access to the property, so it wasn't like a bunch of cat burglars out there breaking into houses. And but the residents need to be aware of it. They let these people in their houses to work on their remodel their kitchens or their bathrooms and stuff. They need to put the value in, or they'll leave stuff laying out, or always be with that person, or relegate that person that particular part of the house. They have no business. They're supposed to be in the kitchen renovating. They have no business walking through the house doing anything else. It's either out one door to the truck and back to that same door, working that specific area. But the residents need to be aware.
And to the captain's point, one of the things that I read in the reports was that they actually seem as if they have their housekeeper, who is a hired person for them that does other houses, and she actually was the one that was controlling contractors coming and going and all those kind of things. And that's a very dangerous situation to put somebody in control of your house and all the entries and exits and everything else, and you just leave your house unlocked and leave valuables in the house. Doesn't excuse it happening. It never should happen, but it definitely, just like unlocked cars, is a crime that is a crime of opportunity that could have been stopped probably by locking your door. But that kind of a crime, normally in my experience, it's not something you would just blast out to the community as if it were a theft that everyone had to be concerned about, because it seemed as an inside job, and all you would do is get everybody all excited thinking they had somebody that was going to run around and break into their house. At best, you might want to put out something to remind everybody to lock everything up and stop leaving things unlocked. Traditionally, that hasn't worked. They still do it and say it won't happen to them. But that's kind of where we're at. I'm just waiting on that one. So everyone will know a resident on Bufflehead sent myself and the chairperson an email basically complaining that we had not put anything out, that she was dissatisfied. And I just told her to give me a call so we could have a chat about that.
I believe that the day that incident happened, it was reported to me. I sent everybody reports on that.
Oh yeah, we had the reports. Yeah, that wasn't the issue. I thank you, Tony. I would think that there's no way we're going to be publicizing an activity like that. And if there was a ring of break-ins, but then I think we notifying the residents, but I don't see that as for operation.
I concur with that because we have to investigate it. We put all our cards on the table and everybody see what we're doing,
Right.
it makes it harder for us to catch the culprit that's doing it. Then he comes back.
And that's pretty much what I'm going to articulate to the resident when she calls me.
Okay, great. Does anybody else, does anyone else have questions for Tony? No? Okay. Then, moving, I think I've covered everyone. Moving down on the agenda, we don't have anything under old business, and under new business, we have the shark protocol. Earlier this year, we worked on a protocol for alligator activity, and the mayor asked that we do one for sharks, even though, thank God, sharks have not been such a big issue here. So we put a small team together, including Dwight and Bonnie and Rob. And first of all, we had somebody from a professor from the University of Florida who was an expert on sharks. We had a conference call with him, and we learned something about shark behavior. And then we outlined what would happen if there was a shark identified on the beach in Kiowa. And basically the beach patrol monitors the beach every day. Maybe you'd like to tell us what you do, Rob, with the beach patrol on sharks.
Sure. So typically the patron on the beach is going to see a shark and call us. And so when that happens, we go and maintain a presence in the area. We stay down there for 15 to 30 minutes, sometimes longer, depending on whether we can confirm that there was a shark, whether we see activity in the area, whether there's a highly populated area, et cetera. So usually the threat kind of just passes on its own, and we go about business as usual.
Okay. So basically, a lot of the responsibility is in the hands of the beach patrol. And if a decision has to be made, of course, to get the people out of the water immediately, they would take care of that. And if it looks like the beach might have to be closed for longer than just a day, the mayor and administrator would be notified, and a discussion would take place. It's pretty basic what we've outlined, but it's in place in case we need it. It identifies when 911 would be called through the normal protocol. Any comments or? No. Okay. Moving down to chairman's updates. I just think that perhaps at this time of year, we could send something out either in one of our publications about house safety and vehicle safety, and perhaps identity theft. Just to remind them to be careful and what to do with their home, make sure their doors are locked, make sure there aren't things left out in the car that people would find attractive. It's just a reminder for everyone, especially at this time with the holidays coming up. Okay, committee members.
I'm sorry, Madam Chair. If you can, before the committee do their updates, if you can just have approval of the minutes, that part was skipped on the agenda.
Of course.
Thank you.
Do we have a motion to approve the minutes?
Also move, Bill.
Okay, do we have a second?
White, I second.
Thank you. Minutes are approved as submitted.
Just need to, all in favor?
All in favor?
Aye.
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 Thank you.
Oh, okay, thank you. Okay, let's start with Dwight. Do you have anything you'd like to report?
No, nothing additional here. Thank you.
Okay. Yvonne?
No, she doesn't. She accidentally muted herself instead of unmuting. There you go, Yvonne. Yeah, she had nothing.
Nothing? Okay. I have a question for Yvonne. What's going on with the PGA work? Yvonne?
Okay, so we're having a series of meetings that we're having both from a large group perspective and also a smaller group perspective. We're covering everything from security, parking, emergency management, communications. We will be having another larger meeting probably the second week of January. We're very close to signing with a hospital. Final works are in the negotiations. And we should be very, very close to getting some initial IAPs in place for everybody to look at and view and circle back and make sure that we have everything buttoned up. But we're actively working towards having a full spectator event is what we're hoping for, but that's not promised.
Okay. Did you want to comment at all on identity theft?
We did have something unusual happen at the resort where we had 3 employees that were not furloughed. Essentially, their social security numbers were used to file for unemployment, but unemployment in general is just seeing a surge in fraud. So, just be mindful of use of anything that would be suspicious.
Okay. Very good. Thank you, Yvonne. Julie, do you have anything about Freshfields? What's going on there?
We're just getting ready for the holidays. We won't have our traditional Thanksgiving weekend festivities due to COVID. We will have some live musical performances, but certainly not we're not having Santa. We're doing letters to Santa.
Oh, that's good.
So yeah, we'll have some other events in December, but again, very socially distanced and just keeping, just awareness with COVID, where we've definitely scaled back what we're doing for the holidays.
Okay, great. Has there been an impact due to COVID on your employees?
My particular staff?
Just in general at Freshfields.
No. We've maintained and kept busy throughout COVID. So, but nothing to report in that regard.
Okay, great. Thank you, Julie.
Thank you.
Bill Tomei, do you have anything to report?
Sure, I can expand a little on the Station 4 construction. As Chief said, it's moving along very well. As a matter of fact, it's moving at about twice the speed as Station 6 moved. At this point, it's about 50% complete and under roof. And it's on schedule and on budget and scheduled for completion, substantial completion on April 5th. Of 2021, and that means substantial completion just means the firefighters can move in while the contractors finish up punch list items, and then final will be May 14th, just in time for the PGA.
Great news. It's such a relief to have it going so smoothly.
Oh yes. You cannot imagine how relieved we all are.
Okay, thank you, Bill. And Bonnie, are you on here? No. Okay.
I just have 2 things I just wanted to update, if I might.
Sure.
Just want to let everyone know that you probably heard that we had 1 employee that tested positive for COVID. And I found that out Friday evening, and as soon as I found out, I kind of went into action. We had town hall was deep clean, COVID clean on Sunday, and I gave staff the option, but highly encourage them to take the test, either take the test or if they didn't, to please talk with me. But I'm very happy that everyone, and rightfully so, everyone wanted to take the test. They wanted to feel comfortable as they're around friends and family. So I have received results back from majority of everyone. I still have 3 that are still waiting on the results, but everyone, including myself, have tested negative. So I still have the 1 employee out. I do not anticipate that person coming back until maybe November 30th, but of course, they cannot return until they test, receive negative test result, and then receive the okay from their doctor. So that's where we stand there. Also, just to let you know that we have an emergency ordinance in place through December 5th regarding face coverings and other requirements. So that ordinance is through December 5th. So the new mayor and council will address that the day they're sworn in. They will then have a special call meeting. I don't see them making the ordinance less restrictive. If anything, they might just keep it status quo or make it more restrictive, but that would take place on December 5th. That's all I have to report, Madam Chair.
Thank you, Stephanie.
You're welcome.
Does anyone else have any comments or questions?
I did forget to mention that we have the Santa Claus that will be riding on the ladder truck on the 27th. The decorating for the fire truck will be at 12:30, and then we will have a small parade between 1 o'clock and 3 o'clock on Kiowa Island for the kids.
And where would that parade be? Right at the sanctuary, or?
It'll leave East Beach Conference Center and then pass the sanctuary and ride down to Night Heron Park.
Great. It sounds like fun. Okay, thank you very much, everybody. I hope you had a...
And I just wanted also, Yvonne made me think of this. We did not receive, just as FYI, and I'm sure the fire department and maybe deputies are aware of this. We did not receive the special event application this year for Party in the Park at what they had at River Course. So of course, we don't anticipate. We've asked, they reached out to us probably last month and inquired about it, and we said, just go through the Accelerate SC process and let us know. We've talked, the mayor's talked with them, and I believe that they're not having that event this year. So.
Thanks for addressing that, Stephanie.
You're welcome. That's all.
All right, everyone, have a happy Thanksgiving. Stay safe, and we'll see you again.
Okay,
Bye.
thanks. Bye.